for so long, each generation just stepped into the society of the previous generation, the systems, the institutions, and oftentimes they remake it in their own image, sometimes overturning certain wrongs and righting them, but far too often the institutions just continue because they're just joined. The systems continue because the people don't throw off that old consciousness. There's a constant overbearing of the previous generation, and little by little the youth has been coming forward. And it's like that situation where you say, man, my parents just don't get it. And then one day you're looking at yourself and you're like, I'm reminding myself of my mother. So the like fractal leaps that are happening in my mind, and I don't know if it's just something in my nature. Like one time my friend told me that I was the ultimate weapon against authority, and it's I'm not gonna get into that, just to say that it's just like people are always trying to like put people on their little schedule, whatever the schedule may be. So what I see is, as integrity truly becomes integrity, and not just keeping your buddy's secrets, if we could truly get to that point where we identify with not just the effects that we can perceive, but the effects of the spirit, the tertiary effects, the effects that are unintended, the consequences that we just don't see because we're trapped in space and time. If we can move beyond these points, kind of like what Swedenborg says about feeling each other's emotions. If I was walking down the street, not only would I feel that emotion of that homeless man laying on the street, not just feel sorrow for him, like my own sorrow, like, oh, I feel bad for him because I'm a good person, and that's how good people feel when they see somebody in that situation. No, you actually feel the emotion of that man to the point where like I'm laying it in bed at home and I can't lay there because I feel the emotion of that man, and the whole world feels it, and nobody can take a step forward in their own life until that man is healed. So often I've heard people just remark about, well, of course nobody wants there to be poverty in society, you know, nobody wants to be stepping over bums on the sidewalk. It's just so often everything comes from a selfish point of view. I remember I read this book by this guy named Thomas Nagel or something Nagel. It's called The Possibility of Altruism, and it's about much more than just altruism. It's about desire theory and reason theory and what is the catalyst of our action. But I just I see that there is a possibility for something higher, and so many people have written about it. I think even Marx, of course Nietzsche, Emerson, Thoreau. There's something higher, and people judge these other people's writings through their own consciousness, completely missing the higher level. I barely get it, but it's something inside that we're learning to describe, and it's continuing. It's that transcendental object that we're moving towards, and each generation senses it more and more. I know I know that there's a lot that we don't know that's been lost. That's why we study the Mayan culture, and the people that can tap into it the most are the shamans, because they're the ones that are continuously dissolving that culture, that habit, and it makes for an ease of use. But these systems and institutions that get perpetuated are hell on earth, and these hierarchies don't need to exist, and we're going to move to another level, and we already are, and it's in us, and the kingdom of God is within.